The short version of the story is that I am not sure what I need long-term, sexually. My GF was my first GF and the first person I ever had regular sex with. We got together in our early 20s, and prior to that I had very little success with women. We were together for 4 years and 99% of the relationship was great. She's still the best person I've ever known and I love her so much. But, for a long time in our relationship I really wanted to experiment sexually. I thought the idea of an open relationship was good. I thought the idea of inviting someone else into the bedroom was good. I suggested both of them and she did not like the idea at all. COVID lockdown goes by, things went south, and we broke up. At the time I was obviously very sad, but I thought to myself that this might be for the best. I thought for a while that the differences in our sexual needs were too much and that it wasn't gonna last. I was excited to start pursuing other people sexually, since I had basically zero sexual experiences beyond one night stands before her. And at this point I kind of knew I could probably do quite well in the dating market. Over the next 18 months I slept with quite a few people, men and women. These were my first gay experiences, and to be honest it didn't feel any different emotionally than hooking up with a woman, but I remember this being surprising to me. This was what I thought I wanted for so long, but I felt empty. I was on the dating apps at the time. I only wanted sex from guys, but women I was open to a potential relationship too. I dated a few women. Some for 2 to 3 dates, others for a couple weeks, and one for a couple months. The problem was that this whole time I was just so hung up on my ex. Whenever I was with any of these people I just thought about how much I'd rather be with my ex. The sex with these people didn't feel as good. I would often imagine my ex to finish, LOL. I eventually told these women I was not ready to date. Then I'd wait a week or 2 and try again. It always went the same way. My ex was also dating people at the time and it made me sad. I still loved her and it seemed like she was moving on. So I told her sorry, but I need to cut her out completely. She said she's sad about it but understands and hopes I am able to move on. 6 or so months go by and I'm pretty miserable. Still thinking about her every time I go to sleep, and multiple times a day. I am casually dating at this point and it's the same as before. One day before my birthday I get a text out of the blue from her saying good luck for my exam. From there I invited her for a drink. And now 6 months later we've been dating since then. Things are just great with us. I love her so much and the time apart made us stronger. We communicate much better, we both experimented sexually, and let's just say our sex is way better than it was before. Also, it feels good that she knows I'm bisexual where I was closeted before. The problem is that I just feel like I want more sexually. I feel like I'm about as open as one could be. I would like to have sex with other women and men. I also would be open for her to have the same experiences. Or, we could do it together. I think it would be fun to watch her have sex with some guy or girl too, to be honest. In my head, there is a real distinction between love and sex. I think it's unreasonable to expect one person to fulfill all your emotional and physical needs. Unfortunately for me, she doesn't feel this way. She is monogamous, and the thought of me having sex with others really upsets her. Now, I'm sure this is a common occurrence. The thing that's fucked up for me is that I have actually seen the other side. We've dated. We broke up. I had the sex I thought mattered to me. It didn't. We got back together. I think most people in a similar situation don't get to try both sides like I did. Yet still, I feel like unless I get my cake and eat it too, I will be unfulfilled. Part of me thinks that this is just what life is like. Another thinks that maybe it's not fair on either of us to carry on like this. What do you think? TLDR, we dated. I wanted to experiment sexually. We broke up, unrelated to my sexual desire. I experiment sexually, doesn't fulfill me, miss my ex 18 months go by. We get back together. I don't know if I want to be monogamous for the rest of my life, and it's messing me up. But I know from experience that not being with her feels much worse than being with her and being a bit sexually frustrated. I would like advice if should I simply cut him off with no explanation or should I confront him? Just for background, my GF and I have been together going on 5 years. I love her, my love for her has evolved, and in the near future I plan to propose. Now my best friend, let's call him Connor, I've known since childhood. Since the beginning, Connor has never said anything good about my GF. He would joke when we would hang out about her weight. At first, I took his words as a joke, but after a while I told him that I didn't like it when he goes in on her appearance, and he stopped talking about it for a bit. About a week ago, Connor, his GF, my GF, and I took to a trip Vegas, and it brought something to my attention. So my GF is beautiful, and I know this, and even others know this, because when we go out clubbing or anything really, guys constantly ask her for her number, to dance or buy her drinks. This doesn't bother me because I can hold my own if I have to, and honestly getting drunk on another man's dime doesn't hurt me either. Well, Connor was talking out his neck this one night as my GF brought me drink after drink men were buying for her. She was passing them to me and Connor's GF too, so we were all pretty drunk, but at one point Connor pulled my GF to the side and just went off talking about why are you flirting with these men? Have you forgotten you have a man? It sounded like he was her boyfriend and not me. I jumped in and told him to lay off her, but he wouldn't stop. It got so bad that the night ended a little early. Once we were in the room, I asked my GF what she thought of Connor's behavior. She said, honestly, I hate it. It makes uncomfortable that he acts like a jealous boyfriend or something. I take my lady's words into consideration, and I agree. All the jokes he tried to make about her, acting like her BF even if I was around because of the attention she gets. Then a memory of another time where we argued about what she wore to a state fair double date. We had gone with him and his GF, because he felt it wasn't appropriate, but really she looked amazing and I loved her fit, so it didn't make sense then, but it feels like it makes sense now. Part of me wants to confirm, but other part just wants to act like we simply grew apart. Any advice is appreciated. Update. Hey y'all, this post really took off. I wasn't going to update simply because there wasn't much of anything to update about. In the end, I did confront Connor and well, a whole lot of nothing happened. Just some yelling back and forth. He acknowledged that he acted crazy with my girl, but no accountability from his part was said. I was hurt about the exchange and I wasn't gonna stop until I got to the bottom of it. So I did what I could to try and get clarity because y'all have to see my side. I grew up with this man. I saw him as my brother and potential best man, and I really wanted to know if he turned into a disgusting person right before my eyes, before I start mourning the loss of our friendship. Anyway, Connor and I used to play 2K, a basketball video game, and on here we were part a squad of people we only met online. However, I am super close to one of them. Let's call him Brad. I PM'd Brad a little rundown of what had happened between Connor and I and explained that I wasn't going to play for a bit, just in case Connor was, and probably open his big mouth and try and turn the guys against me or something. Well, today I received hella photos from Brad. They're from the group chat he and the others are in with Connor, and he is just a real piece of shit. To all the women that expressed that he was a sexist MF, y'all were so right, and on top of him being a piece of shit person, he's fatphobic. I didn't add this detail about my girl because I didn't think it was necessary, but she's plus size. I know to some guys that's a deal breaker. To me, I could care less. And if I am sincerely honest, I think I learned the true meaning of jealousy ever since she chose to be my girl. In the beginning, I needed so much reassurance from her that it's a little embarrassing because I dated all types of body types, but she definitely has been the one that I would stake my claim with over the top PDA because some fools really made me see red. Anyway, Connor said hella disrespectful ass shit that I am ready to bury our friendship because just seeing his true colors makes me so upset and sad. Connor also shared photos of her on this damn group chat as to justify his name calling of her. Part of me wants to beat his ass for that. The other, I guess, is ready to be sad and move on. There's the update, y'all. Sorry to disappoint the few that thought he was in love with me. That would have been a whole other thing of its own, lol. I've been with my boyfriend for about 2.5 years. I'm 28, he's 34. We live together. We get along really well, generally, and spend most of our free time together. I love him a lot and gravitate towards him. Normally, I feel like our relationship is pretty great. But when we fight, I feel like I want to run away. It's usually not even the fight itself, but the way we fight. For example, I had been feeling like I was doing more than my fair share of the chores and brought up that I just wanted clarification for what was my responsibility and what was his. I did not mean for it to be a fight at all, but he took it like I was saying he was slacking. He said most of the mess is my fault anyways, and he cleans up after me all the time, which isn't true, but that's beside the point. He said if I want him to do something, I should just tell him. I told him I didn't want to become the house manager and I'd rather us just divide up chores and then we can do them whenever it works for our schedules. He said he didn't like that idea. The argument ended because he said I had ruined his Saturday morning, the best time of the whole week, by bringing this up. I ended up just walking away from this situation at that point feeling so frustrated. We never did get on the same page about chores. I feel like most fights leave me feeling defeated and like we didn't get anywhere, and I end up feeling down for the rest of the day. Usually we will talk again about the argument later and come to a pretty good understanding/resolution, but it takes multiple tries. In this example, he did come find me later and apologize. He said he wasn't being fair, which made me feel slightly better. But this has become a pattern where I'll bring something up, he gets defensive, we don't resolve anything, and then later when emotions have calmed down, we can come together and actually work it out. The problem with this, for me, is that it's exhausting. Sometimes I'll spend hours just feeling awful because it's so impossible to talk to him about an issue in the moment. It feels like so much work to resolve even small problems. When he brings up an issue with me, it goes totally differently, and we're usually able to deal with it right away. The more this happens, the more I feel like I can't keep doing this. We fight maybe 1-2x per month, so overall, we do really get along pretty well, and when things are good, I have no thoughts of leaving. But I just don't know if I can be with someone who handles conflict this way forever. What are your thoughts? Is this within the realm of normal? I talked to my therapist about it, and she seemed to think it wasn't a huge deal since we are able to resolve the issue on the second or third try. TLDR, when my boyfriend and I argue, he gets defensive and shuts down, sometimes for several hours. I feel horrible during this period and think about leaving the relationship. Then when we talk about it again, we are usually able to fix the problem. Is this a deal breaker/red flag?